The law. We all have to follow it. Or do we? There are some who say, nah, you're all right. They call themselves sovereign citizens. Today, we're going to find out more about them. In this, our weird and wonderful life. Imagine you committed a murder. The police burst in. The knife in your hand is still dripping blood onto the body. You're done for. Unless you can remember the magic words.
I don't consent. I don't consent.
I'm going to show you we have a warrant for your arrest.
I don't consent.
Okay, that's an extreme example. But there are people out there who believe this guff. And they are called sovereign citizens. Beginning in the US in the 1970s, sovereign citizenship has its roots in the American white national movement. But in fairness, today it's a lot more inclusive. Though still primarily a US movement, with the rise of the internet, it's been allowed to spread into other countries. Tim Berners-Lee has a lot to answer for. So why do they believe they don't have to follow the law like the rest of us? Because governments are corrupt. They do not follow government laws, but instead they follow common law. Common law is great because it can be whatever you want it to be. True sovereign citizens don't pay tax. They don't have driving license. They're not even that keen on having formal addresses. They don't like to enter into anything that could be classed as a formal contract with the government. If ever they do have to sign a legal document, they will make sure it's added onto that document it was signed under duress. They carry ID cards that have no worth in the real world. The tactics used by sovereign citizens when dealing with law enforcement are
Interesting.
exactly, Jaren. There is the aforementioned.
I don't consent. I don't consent.
I'm going to show you we have a warrant for your arrest.
I don't consent.
What they are saying is that as they are not subjects of the US state, they are not subject to its laws. This is nonsense. I'm not a US citizen either, but if I went to America and committed a crime, I can be arrested, tried, and convicted in America. Needless to say, this never works. Most of their legal arguments are based around misinterpretations of existing documents, such as the US Constitution, or here in the UK, the Magna Carta. Perhaps most interesting, though, is, well, take a look at this.
Name Santo.
I'm not here to argue with you.
It's not a natural name. It's a corporate trade name, and are you aiding and abetting me? Are you aiding and abetting me to commit fraud? You need to seek.
Can you pay? Listen to me.
You need to ask the Attorney General because that's the Attorney General because that is a trade name, gentlemen.
Listen to me.
There's no contract with me. I am a human being, live flesh, blood, man. You have no consent.
If you're not going to comply, okay, you'll be arrested, okay?
What do you mean comply? You're talking to the witness.
Santos,
I don't consent to anything.
there are a few things between you and
No, that is a person you're dealing with. It's a corporate name.
Are you going to consent?
I am a body, a living body. You're talking
gonna-
to the witness.
are you gonna
You will
consent to bail?
ultimately lose,
Are you
brother.
going to consent?
You may be wondering, what the heck is happening there? Well, allow me to explain. This is called The straw man theory, not to be confused with the straw man fallacy. What our gentleman has done here is separate himself into two entities. There's his flesh and blood self, which is what you see, but also there's his legal entity, or what he refers to as his trade name. And no, it never works. Most of what you see on YouTube is just people who just want to get away with driving offences or just don't want to pay their taxes. But there is a much darker side to it. Sovereign citizen groups have been linked to police shootings, the 1995 Oklahoma bombing, and in more recent times, even the January 6th Capitol riots. There is a reason the FBI classifies sovereign citizen groups as domestic terrorists. So sovereign citizens may seem silly, but they should not be ignored lightly. Next time, I tell you the history you were never taught of a lost civilization and the great mud flood reset. Until then, enjoy this weird and wonderful life.